Hello, hello.
Welcome back, episode
21?
22. Episode 22.
22.
It's been a couple weeks. We have some
You're
updates.
forgetting something. Happy birthday to me. Okay, it's my birthday today.
I already said
September
that to you.
21st.
I already said that too.
Okay, but the world doesn't know that.
Happy birthday to Emily, everybody. Episode 22. This is the birthday episode. I said happy birthday to Emily at...
Like 1 a.m.
No, it was 12:30, I think. Just past midnight. I got you first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 24, huh?
24 years old, which is crazy because I don't even remember aging past 19.
After 18 to me was like...
Yeah.
That was it. That was my last birthday.
Right. Because I don't drink. So my 21st birthday was not like how everybody else's 21st birthday is. Like it wasn't a big deal. I vividly remember my 21st birthday, I was pregnant. Or no. Yeah, I was pregnant with Phoebe.
Right.
I was 8 months pregnant. And we were sitting in the living room on the floor eating spaghetti. And you made it kind of like a romantic little spaghetti night on the floor. You remember that?
Yeah, lame. I was thinking about the birthday gifts that I've given, or maybe not just birthday gifts, but the gifts that I've given you. The vanity was another one. I've given you some solid gifts.
Yeah.
The vanity was one.
Yeah.
I got you your ring, which...
My wedding ring.
The story behind that is I'd gotten Emily a ring like for us getting engaged and married that was different than the actual ring that she has now. The first ring that I bought was cheap.
Because it all happened so quickly. Which I had no problem with the ring that he got me. I liked it. It was a little bit big, but I
forgot about that.
I fell in love with the puzzle ring, which if you go to my TikTok, it's like it's my pinned video.
I'll put up a photo.
It's got a lot of views. But anyway, I fell in love with this puzzle ring and he surprised me. He had always said that he was going to get me a better ring. I was never like, doesn't matter. This is a really cool ring. But yeah, he surprised me with it on our anniversary. On our first... Yeah, it was our first anniversary. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, because Phoebe was only a few months old.
4 months old.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Because it was like right after we moved here.
And that's a nice one. That's a fancy ring.
Yeah.
So that's probably the best gift that I've given you.
Yeah.
But I got you some...
A purple pillow.
The purple pillow is a big one. The cheetah vans.
And that purse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
that
there's
was
been
like
a couple
the first...
purses. You have a concealed carry purse, which is nice. And then I got you the cheetah print purse, I think.
That was the first gift you ever got me.
The cheetah print purse.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I've given you some solid gifts.
Yeah.
This year it was a handmade jewelry box. Imagine a log that's kind of maybe like a foot across. What do you think?
Yeah.
Imagine it's like a foot long and then like a foot diameter.
You could put a picture of
log,
it too.
And it has drawers in it that are cut out of the center of the log. The person made drawers out of them. And it's a jewelry box.
And it's got a hidden compartment in the back.
Yeah, if you pull one of the drawers completely out, there's another drawer behind in the back of the drawer, which
but it's
it kind of
made
ruins
from
the point. It kind of ruins the point of it being a secret drawer if we're telling everybody. But it's so cool that we have to tell people.
It's made from like a really rare tree. And it was cut in, I think they said like the 1800s, or it was grown in the 1800s. So it's very old.
Was there a note? The note, that's what it said?
Yeah.
And then on the handles, there's 2 buffalo nickels that are on the handles. So it's just a cool
It was really
box.
cool. We went on a little date to like a local trading post. Like a local trading post. It's for tourists mostly, but we went on a little date out there, and
Garden of the Gods trading post. Shout out.
We were. I kind of didn't want to let people know where we live, but
Garden of the Gods is. We don't live at Garden of the Gods.
Right. Well, okay. Anyway, we
Come
went
find us.
there. We were looking at all the stuff, and I saw these jewelry boxes, and I was just like, these are so cool. And I was going on and on and on about them. And then he surprised me with that for my birthday. So that was cool.
Yep. I've gotten you some good stuff.
Yeah.
What else?
I've not gotten you very many. You know what, though?
What's the best gift you've gotten
The
me?
motorcycle. You bought that on my birthday last year.
I did. Yeah.
You bought that on my birthday last year,
Yeah.
and you said, if you let me get this, this is my birthday present. And I said, okay, that's your birthday present. Speaking of motorcycles.
September last year, I bought a 2001 SV650. And it was an American flag paint scheme on it. I thought it was the coolest thing. Rode that until about June, right?
Yep.
No, May, June. Yeah. Around June, we went to Texas. You guys know about that trip. You guys know about my motorcycle being stolen while we were on that trip. Got back a week later. They found the motorcycle. Insurance totaled it. And so I bought another one. This new motorcycle, I had it about a month. I was riding it about a month. And then I went to Denver and was doing some sort of motorcycle course where there was a few of us who set up some cones. It was some motorcycle instructors that were kind of the head of this whole thing. Set up some cones. I let a guy ride my bike. I think I might have even talked about this. Let a guy ride my bike. He dropped it and broke something in the transmission. Been in the shop. It was in the shop for about 40 days. And just all of these things were happening to where I was like, maybe God does not want me riding a motorcycle. And so I was telling, I told you, right? Like, I was like, if I told God that if he wants me to stop riding a motorcycle to have a bird poop on my head, I thought that was fair. Have a bird poop on my head if you don't want me riding a motorcycle. And I think God is capable of doing that, is it right for me to test God? Maybe not. I'd say probably not. But I'm like, if he's trying to show me all these signs, then he'll probably listen if I'm like, hey, just make it clear and I'll sell it. Anyways, with the bike being in the shop so long, I was like starting to question. And like all the little inconveniences that were happening, why it was in the shop so long. Anyways, I get it back on a Friday night. We drive out there. I pick it up, starts right up, drive it home. That night, I go out to start it again and it wouldn't start. And I was like, great. Like, this is weird. Oh, also, there was bird poop on the windshield of the bike.
And I told him, I
Which is
said,
weird.
Carlos, that's not a coincidence. You need to sell the bike.
Well, I don't know
I
about
said
sell
that.
the bike.
I said, you need to stop riding.
Well, I think it's like on the windshield. I told you that if God has bird poop somewhere else, like it's just a warning. Remember that? Anyway, I figured out how to push start the bike, which essentially is just putting it in gear, running with it, dumping the clutch, and it starts on its own. That's how you get the engine spinning from the other side instead of from the drive shaft instead of from.
Okay, you don't need to go into technicals.
Okay. Most people don't need to know that.
Yeah.
But it's cool. So I started it and then I rode it around. I think the next day I started it and I've been trying to get good video and audio so that I can post it to YouTube and stuff. Anyway, so I got it started and I was testing out this new mic setup and I go on a ride. It's a beautiful day. And I don't even think Emily knew I left.
I didn't. I thought that he was in the parking lot working on his bike. He said, I'm going to go work on the bike. I said, okay. So I'm fully expecting him to be out in the parking lot this whole time. And I remember texting him and I said, hey, can you come in and help me with the kids? And he didn't text back. And I just assumed he didn't see his phone. Or you didn't text back for like probably 20 or 30 minutes.
So I was going on a ride. Oh no, this is what happened. I was going on a ride. It was sunny and then all of a sudden I'm like in this low traffic road. It goes by a park. It's just not a busy road. While I'm on this road, it starts raining. And I'm like, okay, it's drizzling a little bit. I have a GoPro on and stuff. I don't want it to get wet. But I just kept going because it was just drizzling. And then all of a sudden it started pouring. And I looked down the road even further, and I could just see the rain as like just a sheet of rain down there, and I don't want to go into it. So I turn the bike around, and as I'm going, I make a right turn, and then I'm going a little quick. So on my left turn, I try to straighten out the curve. And as soon as my tire hit that line, it slipped. All of a sudden, I was on the ground. I was surprised how many thoughts I could have while sliding, because I remember seeing my bike and I was like, oh no, there's no way this is happening. Then I was dragging on my right shoulder and I was like, I just got to let myself roll so that I don't get bad road rash. And then I just tumbled for a few seconds and then I stuck the landing.
No, he smacked he rolled into the freaking curb, smacked his head on the curb.
And then I stuck
That's
the
how
landing.
you stopped. No, you didn't stick the landing.
Well, I ended up
acting like you're some sort of stunt man over here.
Yeah. Well, I was on my feet, but I was like crouched down somehow. I don't know how I ended up like that, but I like rolled enough to where I was on my feet and I was just like squatted down. A car was pulling out right behind me, and so they just stopped. I'm assuming they called the police. What I'm surprised by is I got it all on video. What I'm
Yeah.
surprised by is like how quick I thought I was reacting, but then when I watched the video, I was squatting there for like a solid minute. I was just squatting. I gave the car a thumbs up to let them know like I'm good, because I didn't feel anything. I was literally not sore. I think I had
I saw in the
adrenaline
video
pumping.
Immediately you're like looking at your arms. You're
Yeah,
like looking at yourself.
I'm like making sure I don't have any big wounds. I didn't feel any sort of, I thought I would have felt like blood leaking if I was bleeding bad anywhere. The first thing I noticed was my forearm. I was like, oh, that kind of stings. Or not even stings, I just noticed it, which is such a weird thing. Like no pain in my body, but I noticed my arm.
I know what you mean.
It was a weird experience, but it was like, okay, I looked at my arm. I was like, okay, there's something there.
Yeah.
And then I thought that's all that
You know
happened.
what? I think there's something though. I think the reason that there's definitely adrenaline, but like I noticed that sometimes if I get like a cut or something and it's covered and I can't see it, or like say that, because this is what's happened before, is like I've stubbed my toe and I'm like, dang, that hurt. But I have a sock on and I don't look at my toe. And then later on, I'll take my sock off and my toe is like bleeding. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot worse than I thought. And I think there's like something where if your body if you can't physically see your injuries, it doesn't feel as bad as it is.
Or at least like right away when you have adrenaline.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe that's why I like looked at my arm. I was like, okay, that's a little scraped up. Now you can kind of see, but I'll post some photos. But yeah, I stood up. The car who was behind me, the guy got out, and he's like, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." And I like turned around for him. I was like, "Can you tell me what my back looks like?" I had no idea. I assumed that I was more injured than I felt. And he was like, "Oh, your back looks fine." Like,
are you talking about the guy in the car?
Yeah, the guy who was in the car right behind me. He's like, "Yeah, your back looks fine." And then I was like, I think I'm good. And so I went and picked up my bike, or I might have done it the other way. Or I might have picked up my bike first. And then by the time I picked up my bike, there was a police officer pulling up. He was like right around the corner. I guess he told me that right as I crashed, he was just around the corner filling up his tank, ready to go to work. He hadn't even clocked in yet. And then he said there was someone across the street at the park that ran over to him and said, "Hey, someone just crashed their bike." And so he just got in his truck or his SUV and came over to me. He saw that I was okay. He didn't seem worried at all. I think it was kind of funny.
But he did call the ambulance.
Yeah, and so I like took my shirt off in front of him and like turned around and he was like, "Yeah, you got some on your shoulder," and like just so he could see what I couldn't.
Oh, and you forgot to mention that your gun was just chilling on the side of the road.
Yeah, I picked up my bike and then I realized I look over at the curb and my gun was over on the curb.
You're so lucky that didn't go off, dude.
I don't think there's a way it could have. I don't think it could have. Then if I would have shot myself in the leg or something.
Yeah.
That'd have been crazy. That would have made the story cooler.
No.
But yeah, the gun was fine. It had some, it was
It's not even your gun. That's my gun.
Well, I bought both of them.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway, so yeah, I take my shirt off in front of the officer, and he calls an ambulance just to check me out.
Mm-hmm.
They come, and stops raining at this point. By the time I picked up my bike, the rain had stopped. It was still a little cloudy. Then I get in the ambulance, and I feel like this is boring, but people might be interested in the little details.
Mm-hmm.
I was yapping. I was talking like crazy. If I had done anything wrong, like if I had, like that's the time I would have
Like
admitted
if
it.
you were on drugs or drinking, you
Yeah.
would have said
My
something
mouth
about
was
it.
going. I was like, I was
You,
surprised. I was
you
just
think it was
talking.
adrenaline?
I don't know.
Probably.
I'm also just a yapper. I like talking. But yeah, the officer was like helping me get my bike over to this parking lot, and I was like telling him the whole history of, yeah, I had my last bike, and then my last bike got stolen, and then a week later I got it, and then insurance totaled that one, so I got a new bike, and I was just telling him like my whole life story. And then he was like, "Have you been on any, like, you on drugs or alcohol or anything?"
Seriously?
Yeah, and I was like, "No."
Oh
I
my
tried, and I
gosh.
kind of took it. I took that, and I was like, I should probably stop talking so that like he's
Yeah.
not worried that I'm like freaking
Yeah.
tripping out or something. And I was like, no, I'm not.
Oh
And
my
he
gosh.
was like, how about you take your gun and you put it somewhere so the ambulance, they don't get mad, or they don't they're not worried about it. And so he had me put my gun next to his rifle in his SUV and on the passenger seat.
That's
Like, you
funny.
just put it next to my gun. I was like, okay. So I was like, just don't let me forget it. He's like, oh, I won't. And yeah, and then I went in the ambulance. It was these two young girls. I'm surprised like that there wasn't like some 40-year-old guy that or something, or
Right, like
some
someone
40-year-old
more
woman. Like,
experienced.
yeah, it was like two girls that seemed like they were my age or younger.
Maybe we could ask Chloe, maybe they put like the trainees or whatever on like these little on
Maybe
on like the
they were like, hey,
minor
he's
stuff, the
okay.
stuff that's not so
Yeah,
serious. So
this
they
guy's
just get
okay.
the
Like, you
practice.
guys
Yeah.
go. Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, they came, or I don't even know. Maybe there was someone in the front that was
Yeah,
driving
maybe.
or something that just stayed up there. I don't know.
In case they had
I don't know how,
questions.
but it was funny. Every time, like, they opened the back of the ambulance, I'm like, is this going to cost anything? And they're like, no, this is free. So I go in, and then they're like, you want us to bandage you up? And I'm like, does that cost anything? Like, I was making
You
sure.
really?
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to pay you guys anything.
If you can't tell by that comment, we're broke.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't want to pay for
Oh
anything. I don't like,
gosh.
and they did a terrible job bandaging me up anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's when I texted you, and I was like, I'm selling the bike.
Yeah, he texted me. He said, I'm selling the bike. And I said, good. And I thought,
And that's when I
at
think you
this
texted
point,
me.
I still think he's outside in the parking lot.
I think that's when you texted me,
And
like, can you come in and help with the kids?
maybe that's what it was. But I thought he was saying that because he was frustrated with the bike because he couldn't get it to start.
Yeah.
I had no idea you were
You
gone.
were just like, okay. Or,
Yeah, I said good.
Yeah.
I said good.
I was like,
And then
she
I
has no
said,
idea
can you
that I'm
come in
sitting
and
in the
help
back.
with the kids?
I was like, you have no idea that I'm sitting in the back of an ambulance right now after crashing.
So then this guy, funny jokester over here, walks in the door. I don't look up from what I'm doing to greet him at the door because I thought he was outside.
I rode the
thought
bike
he was
home.
here.
I rode the bike home. By the time I got out of the ambulance, it was sunny, and the officer was like, okay, I guess you're good. Like, go home, whatever. It was funny. I was like, I should probably just sell this thing. He's like, no, give it some time. He was just like, yeah, you're just like, it sucks to crash, but just give it some time before you sell it. So he helped me push start it because it still wasn't starting. So he helped me push start it. Runs fine. I rode it home. Definitely careful on the ride home. And yeah, then I walk inside and you're just knitting, staring at your phone.
I was crocheting and like reading my knitting or my crochet pattern. And he walks in, and like I said, I thought he was outside this whole time. So I don't feel the need to like look up or like greet him or say hi or anything because I thought he was just working outside. And so after a couple seconds of me not looking up or saying anything, he goes, wow, these bandages suck. And immediately I went, and I look up and
You didn't gasp
I
like that.
immediately, no, I did. And I always do.
I think you gasped after you like looked up.
I look up and I go, and I immediately
like, what?
threw what I was doing down, and I got up and I said, what the hell happened? What happened? What happened? And I said, did you crash? And you said, you were like, calm down, calm down.
Well, you asked
and
a
I
million
kept
questions.
asking, what happened? And you're like, I'm fine. And I'm like, you need to freaking tell. I'm getting mad at this point because I'm asking him what happened. He will not tell me what happened. I have to know the details. I have to know if you're okay. I have to know if I need to take you to the freaking hospital.
You didn't let me speak. And that's why I was like, that's why I was just like, I'm gonna let you freak. I'm gonna let you get all these emotions out, and then I'll talk to you, because you were just like, what, when, how, who, where, why? Like, you had all these questions that I could tell that they were like running in your mind, and I was like, I'm gonna let her mind slow down a little bit before.
And I'm also sitting in the middle of like asking all those questions and all these thoughts running through my head. I'm thinking, why the heck didn't he tell me?
And now you know.
But I'm sitting there thinking, like, why would he not tell me? Like this has to be a joke. Why would he not tell me? Like, who bandaged him up? If he was in an ambulance, why would he not call me and tell me? And like, anyway.
Yeah.
After that.
And you scared Phoebe.
I did. I scared Phoebe because when I get worked up, Phoebe gets worked up. And I was really scared because I just saw you all bandaged up, and I'm thinking, what's underneath those bandages? You know?
Yeah, and it wasn't bad. Well,
it wasn't as bad as I was.
I took off the shoulder one because it
imagining.
was already coming off. Like, seriously, honestly, terrible job from, if you're listening and you're the person who bandaged me up, learn how to bandage up the shoulder.
You said they didn't even clean it, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So
I don't
immediately,
remember that. I was too busy yapping.
Immediately, I'm like, okay, I got to go to the store. So I go to the store, I get stuff to clean it and stuff to bandage it, medical tape, all this stuff, gauze, wrap. We come back and we clean it out and we wrap it up and stuff. And I'm just sitting here like, what?
Well, first I showed you the video before all that.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I got it on video. So I'm like, show me right now. So I watched it. And it really wasn't as bad as I was picturing in my mind.
Yeah.
And so I think after I saw the video, I was like, okay, he's fine. And then I think that you kind of got irritated because I stopped showing him so much sympathy because I saw that it wasn't bad. And I have told him before to sell the bike. And so now at this point, after seeing the video, seeing that he's okay, I'm not in panic mode. I'm like, you're an idiot. That's what I'm thinking. Because you got all these signs to sell the bike. I've been telling you sell the bike. I've been telling you be careful, and then you crash. And I'm thinking you're an idiot because he wasn't wearing his gear.
I had my gear on. I didn't have a jacket on. You had your helmet and your
gloves. If you were wearing your jacket
and my boots,
you would not have had any road rash. You would have had some knee scrapes, but you would not have had hardly any injuries. The road rash is not that bad. It's not, but it could have been worse.
To me, it's like, if all a jacket does is prevent road rash, I don't care as much. Like
until that road rash goes down to your freaking bones, dude.
I have seen some people like with some really rough road, like all across their back. But I'm thinking I did a good job preventing it, because when you see people fall and they slide, when I was sliding, I was like, don't slide, roll, and I rolled and I was fine. So I'm like, next time if I fall, like, I know rolling prevents road rash. But then it's like rolling also
hurts your body.
Like, if you think of stuntmen, like, they roll, and that's your body. The longer it takes for your body to slow down, the better off you'll be. The quicker you stop, the more damage there is. That's why it's like hitting a wall, you're dead. If you go from 60 miles an hour to 0 in half a second or less, that's when you die. But if you're just sliding or you're rolling, like, that's your body, all of this energy is just taking its time to dissipate, I guess.
Yeah.
Via friction mostly. But when you're rolling, it's like the ground is still slowing me down, but it's just it's like rolling a wheel. Like, the wheel's not going to get damaged. So just turn into a wheel and roll. Anyway, I'd rather avoid road rash because it's annoying, but like, I have to have more of a reason to wear a jacket, I guess. Like, the pads and stuff are more what I'd be interested in, or even a airbag. An airbag would have been cool at that time because I just bounced around while I'm rolling, like, and had my neck protected and everything. That's if I keep riding, that's the next big investment is
If you keep riding.
an
And
airbag.
here's the thing. I'm airing out my grievances on here. He tells me, okay, I'm going to sell the bike. I'm going to sell it. I crashed it. I'm going to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're not going to sell the bike. I know it. I said, okay, you do that. Put it up for sale right now. And then a couple days later, he goes, I don't think I should sell the bike.
Well, it's in the shop right now. I don't have it. So, like, after I just got it back from these guys, they gave me my bike back. A couple days later, I'd crash it, and then the next day they take it back. So I had the bike for like 2 days, and it wasn't starting. So they were gonna fix that anyway. But yeah, I just wasn't patient, and I just wasn't listening to my gut that was telling me don't go. And so
Your gut was telling you don't go?
yeah,
You didn't tell me
I was
that.
to all of these things that were I was like,
Oh, okay.
there's bird poop on my windshield.
Yeah.
Like even that was freaking me out. And like it's not starting. Like all those signs, I should just be like, you know what? If things aren't working out, I'm just gonna listen to it.
Yeah.
Like I should have just listened.
I hope you've learned your lesson. Maybe listen
My
to it next time.
my lesson is those lines, those road paint lines.
Oh my
are
gosh, that's your
super-
only lesson?
That is the biggest lesson. Those
Not
road paint
listen
lines.
to my gut?
No, that's a good one too.
Oh my
But those road
gosh.
paint lines are super slippery. Like I know everyone is telling
Yeah.
me, oh, those road paint lines are super. They'll get you or whatever. And I'm like, yeah. I wasn't even leaning that much, and it
Yeah,
just
no,
touched.
you weren't.
It
Yeah.
just touched the line and just like the
Yeah.
bike was gone. Like that was so crazy. It was such a crazy experience to me. I was like, oh, I'd rather not lean on the pavement and cross over these paint lines to straighten out the
Yeah.
curve so I don't have to lean. And as soon as I touched it, it slipped. So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
now I have more respect for those paint lines. But honestly, it's like if that was the cost of riding a motorcycle, I'm willing to pay that because of how much fun it is. It's like, think about this, like skateboarding.
Here's the thing, Carlos.
No, think about like skateboarding or mountain biking or anything like the things that are extreme sports. I don't know if they'd be considered that, but those people are getting injured all the time. But it's like, that's the cost. If you just expect to like, you could probably avoid a lot of
Right,
injury.
but those people are getting injured, but they're not dying.
Right. And I didn't die either. So that's what I'm saying. If that's the only cost of riding a motorcycle is road rash every now and then,
But that's not
fine.
the only cost.
No,
People die all the time.
Yeah, that's the biggest cost is like
And so
okay,
here's the thing is,
a car pulls
here's how
out
I see
and
it is,
slide into them.
if you want to like, I understand how much fun riding is. If anybody in this house understands, it's me. All
no,
right.
it's me.
No, I grew up riding. I love it. I miss it. I
But
talk
not the
about how I
same,
want to
not the
ride
same.
all the time. But I think riding a motorcycle versus a dirt bike on a paved road with other traffic versus on a dirt trail, that's different. I think if you want to go ride on a dirt trail and get a dirt bike, I'd let you go ride anytime you want. I'm like, cool. Okay. I've crashed on a dirt bike. I'm fine. You know why? Because there's no other traffic.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest risk.
And you're
is
not going 60, 70, 80 miles an hour.
the biggest risk of a motorcycle is the things that there's other variables that you can't control. There's things that you can't control. Whereas riding a dirt bike or skateboarding or stuff, like if you fall, it's pretty much everything is under your control. You fall, you slide a little bit or you roll or whatever. And you're not having to worry about a car coming out of nowhere and hitting you while you're down. But I feel like when you look at the statistics, the majority of fatalities are no helmet fatalities. That's the big one. I'm not saying people can't die if they wear their helmet, because that happens. Just like people crash in their cars and die. But yeah, like no helmet. Speed is a huge one. Alcohol or drugs. So under the influence of some kind. When you remove all of those controlled things, it's like, okay, the risk isn't really that much worse than like riding in a car. And there's like just so much benefit to it too. Like if you're just looking at the cons, like of course it's like, oh, just ride in a car, like it's safer. But if you're looking at the pros, like, oh my goodness.
I get it. All right, I do.
You've
But
ridden on the back of my bike.
as a wife and mostly as a mother, like I do not want my kids to go fatherless because you couldn't give up a hobby when you had all the signs to do it. That's my issue.
I have a hard time because I'm like, I'm still open to a bird pooping on my head and being like, that's it. I'm selling everything. Like
Yeah.
I'd still do that. But it's like these signs that I'm getting are they more feel like, all right, warnings. Like don't go on that ride. It's about to rain. Like don't do this today. Don't go on this long ride today. And I feel like that's what I have to listen to. And I just have to be more careful and respect the road more. Like I think I started to get to a point where I was kind of not disrespecting the road, but just not having the right respect for the machine that I was riding and
Is the
the
word
road.
like belligerent? You were getting like
Complacent.
you get complacent, yeah.
Yeah, I was getting too comfortable without kind of knowing the risk. And what's crazy is like these past couple of days, I've felt like almost a relief of like, okay, now I think I've learned the lesson of respect the ride, respect the motorcycle, respect the road. And it's not just all fun and games. Like there's a cost to it.
And you're very lucky that your only cost was some road rash, some very minor road rash. I think you need to see that.
Relatively minor.
Like you are very lucky to have walked away from that.
I don't know. I think I'm skilled.
No, you're very lucky.
I nailed that landing.
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, superhero landing.
Anyway, we're keeping this episode shorter because we have birthday plans and
Yep. Emily's birthday today. So send her a message.
24.
Happy birthday. Yeah, this is it's been good.
Yeah.
How many birthdays have you had with me? 3? 4?
4. We've been married 3 years, together 4 years. So this is the 5th.
I don't know. Anyway.
Since 2019.
I appreciate knowing you. You're cool. Or whatever.
2020.
You're a cool cat. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
Say happy birthday to Emily, everybody. And also my mom's birthday tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Shepard's birthday was last month. Phoebe's birthday is next month. It's birthday season, folks.
Yep, and holiday season.
Yep.
Pumpkin spices are coming out.
Get ready. Get ready for Christmas. It's coming.
I'm so excited. Carlos promised me he's going to make this Christmas super Christmassy, which is so exciting for me.
I'm dedicated to making Christmas feel Christmassy.
Yes! I'm so excited.
All the Christmas things.
Oh, that's so exciting. That's such a great thing to hear.
Getting to open our fireplace up
yes.
again. All right, this is
Christmas wreath.
Tangent. We have a fireplace, right? That's like built into our house. Over the summertime, since we don't have AC, we don't have central AC, what I've done is I cut out a piece of cardboard that covers the entire fireplace. And out of that cardboard, I cut out a little place for a window AC unit.
Mm-hmm.
And I slid a AC unit right there, plugged it into the wall so that hot air vents up through the fireplace and the cold air comes into our living room.
It works. Our house is nice and cool during the summertime.
Yep. It's not like freezing or anything. Like
it's a good temperature.
It helps.
It's
it helps out significantly.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's my recommendation for you. I guess it's fall. So next year. Anyway, love you guys. Thank you for listening. I'm okay. You don't have to reach out to me and ask if I'm fine. I'm fine. And you can, I'll put a picture of what that looks like. But it kind of hurts. Like so that so that's what my shoulder looks like right now. Anyway. Yeah. Thank you for listening.
Thanks.
Peace.
Bye.